از کمپین فمینیسم و حقوق زنان یک تئوری‌های خیلی بزرگی بودن که ما کتاب‌هاش رو می‌خوندیم و سمینارهاش رو برگزار می‌کردیم، ولی بعد از کمپین یک چیزهای خیلی ملموسی شد که هر کدوم از ما یک دفترچه داشتیم و یک برگه امضا و همیشه اینها همراه ما بوده.
So before the campaign, before the 1 million signature campaign was launched, they had all these big seminars and theory of feminism, and they would organize. When the campaign was launched, they had all their booklet, which was the booklet against the discriminatory law, in their pockets, always with them, and the petition, so that they could concretely interact with people and get signatures.
وقتی که من میگم که اعضای کمپین در سفرهای شهر به شهر و روستا به روستا، یعنی اینکه من و دوستم و دوستانمون وقتی که به همراه خانوادهمون سفر میرفتیم یا برای تعطیلات سفر میرفتیم، این کمپین رو هم با خودمون میبردیم.
She says, when I talk about the campaign addressing individual people in the provincial towns, is when I go with my family for vacation, I took my campaign with me in a provincial town, and I continue campaigning there.
And how did people react to you as when you would bring out this booklet and say, "Can you sign this? Here's what our declaration is." What kinds of reactions did you get?
خیلی متفاوت بود واکنش‌ها. خیلی‌ها میپذیرفتن و خیلی‌ها نه. ولی ما همه جا، مثلا خود من حتی روز ازدواجم هم دفترچه‌های کمپین توی سفره عقد بودن به جای مراسم سنتی که هسته.
The reactions are different. Some people are forthcoming, some people are more reluctant. But what makes them extremely, their resilience is that she says even during my wedding ceremony in Iran, you have a big in front of you different elements symbolically, and on her wedding map carpet she had the campaign's booklets also.
و از مهمونا می‌خواستی به جایی که برای هدیه بیارم برای این کمپین رو امضا کنم.
And so instead of getting wedding present, she would ask them to sign. So each guest would sign instead of giving them a wedding present.
این فقط من نبودم، بقیه دخترها و پسرای کمپین هم که ازدواج کردن همین بود ماجرا.
All other boys and girls member of the campaign did the same thing for their wedding. They got signature as instead of present.
برای اینکه قبل از اون میگم کمپین یک چیز خیلی، یعنی حقوق زنان یک چیز خیلی بزرگ و تئوری بوده، ولی بعدش ما توی خونه هامون، یعنی اینکه چه تأثیری داشت برای دموکراسی، بخاطر اینکه ما توی خونه هامون با پدرانمون، با شوهرانمون، با برادرامون صحبت می‌کردیم که به حقوق زن‌ها احترام بذارن. فکر می‌کنیم که این یک قدم ایران رو به سمت دموکراسی سوق میده.
So through this campaign, because it became so concrete, it became the subject of debate in the families. They were talking about with their fathers and brothers about the importance of this issue.
و به مردان هم همین رو میگفتیم که اگه شما به حقوق زنان احترام بذارید، فقط به خاطر زنان نیست، به خاطر جامعه هم هستش که جامعه یه قدم به یک جامعه برابرتر و دموکراتیک نزدیک میشه.
So they were trying to argue with men that if you respect women's rights, it's also not only for the women, it's also for the global interest of democratic society.
If I can interrupt now and ask Pani Hanna Gronkiewicz-Waltz if she would talk a little bit about her experience in the 1980s. Pani Henryka was an important activist in the Polish Solidarity movement, was a trade union leader, and will now talk about a little bit about her own experience, which is obviously different from the Iranian experience, but perhaps she can compare as well. Zrozumiana?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that my experiences are different than your experiences. They were very fruitful, and this makes me very happy. So in 1979, as a person who was a tram driver, I saw leaflets which were put down next to the shipyard, down from the bridge. There were different names, different addresses, different telephones on the leaflets. And I have to tell you that the names which I read there, well, I don't even know how to define it, but I was so surprised. How could you be so courageous at that time to give all your coordinates and wait until the moment when they will knock at your door and arrest you? I was not really very courageous. I didn't go there, and I didn't say that I wanted to work for them. There were some family reasons, but I think that if it hadn't been for the family reasons, I wouldn't have gone there either. I was not that interested at that time, but several months have passed, and in my workplace, terrible things were happening. We were harassed. We were treated like objects. And we were all the time also beaten up by our passengers and badly treated by our passengers. And we were trying to stand up. And when we finally pointed at the tram driver who would not go, well, he always said that he would not put his family in line. And then August came, when the shipyard went on strike. And I have to tell you, well, I'm not a hero. I was very much afraid. I was so scared today, even at the very thing, when I think about it, well, I am really petrified. When I was thinking what might happen, well, the trams were so different than they are today. We could be caught any time. When we were driving to the Opera House, you must know where it was, I was thinking, should I stop or should I not stop? And then I stopped as a tram driver. And you know, it was so surprising to me when they didn't shout at me, when people did not fight against me, but they started to clap their hands and they started to applaud me. And then we knew that we had to do something. And then we go to the station. And then again, a colleague of mine who went to the shipyard to see what was going on there in the shipyard, he did not come back. So as a chairperson, I felt that I had to go there myself to see what was happening. And then I did that, and then it turned out that the strike was coming to an end, that Lech Wałęsa announced the end of the strike. I entered the place, people go out. I don't remember what I was yelling. Well, I was yelling to them, most probably I was telling them what my name was, where I was from, and if they go out, what would happen to us? We stopped for them. We also stopped for them. At that time, I was a woman who was yelling. And I think that each of us, when we yell, we are heard. And this happened to me too at that time. I was noticed. Today, with full determination, I can say that even, well, some people were even sort of scared of me because of my yelling. I do not need a microphone. I never needed a microphone. I can always cope perfectly well without a microphone. I have a very strong voice. And that is why I was elected to become a member of the strike committee. Today, after so many years, I listen to different versions about all those stories. I can hear different versions about how the strike continued, how it developed, and I will tell this for the first time here in this place. That strike wouldn't have lasted if it hadn't been for Anna Walentynowicz, Alina Pieńkowska, well, the late Pieńkowska, and there was also a small role of myself. We were yelling there. The shipyard workers were coming back. They didn't know me because I was not a member of trade unions. I was not a member of a party. But there were two other women, Anna Walentynowicz, the strike was about her, and the other one worked in the shipyard hospital, and they also knew her, and they listened to them, and they started to come back. When the trade unions were established, I knew that we had to press demands. And then I went back to my workplace, and I told them what was happening in the shipyard, that the strike continued in the shipyard. And then I asked, what about me? Would somebody else go, or perhaps I should stay there? And then everybody said, you go, you know how to do that. Please don't take it literally that I was so patted by everybody, that everybody liked me. It is not really the case. I just wanted to say about that moment when you know how to act very decisively.